This is AI, focusing on the newest developments in AI and the legal space. Please subscribe to my channel. New generative AI systems like ChatGPT and Dall-E raise a host of novel questions for a legal system that always imagine people rather than machines as the creators of content. This has been at the core of the respective regulation, assuming that a human being is at the center of the creation process and can therefore be associated with the creation process. Novel AI solutions have been able to imitate this process and provide even their own creation. But why does it matter to us? The courts will have to sort out not problems like whether AI companies had rights to use the data that trained the systems, whether the output of generative engines can be copyrighted, and who is responsible if an AI engine spits out defamatory or dangerous information. There are several challenges that arise, such as that new laws specific to AI don't yet exist in most of the world. In Europe, there's a process ongoing for the drafting of a wide-ranging AI Act. That means, however, that most of these issues, at least for now, will have to be addressed through existing laws. The challenge is that the AI field has accelerated, and companies are increasingly taking more risks in the deployment of technology, which brings existing laws to its limits. Generally, the more money that flows in, the faster people are moving the goalpost and removing the guardrails, and this represents a major challenge to existing legal frameworks. One big question is whether the latest AI systems are on a safe legal ground and having trained their engines on all manner of information found on the internet, including copyrighted works. At issue is whether or not such training falls under a principle known as fair use, the scope of which is currently under consideration by the Supreme Court in the United States. Much of the early legal battles have been about this issue. Getty, for example, is suing Stable Diffusion, saying the open source AI image generator trained its engine on 12 million images from Getty's database without getting permission or providing compensation. Newspapers such as CNN and the Wall Street Journal have raised similar legal issues about articles that say were used to train OpenAI's ChatGPT text generator, which the state infringed their intellectual property. It's not just about copyright. In the lawsuit against GitHub, for example, the question is also whether the Copilot system, which offers coders AI-generated help, violates the open source licenses that cover much of the code it was trained on. Nor are the potential IP infringement issues limited to the data that trains such systems. Many of today's generative AI engines are prone to spitting out code, writing, and images that appear to directly copy from one specific work or several discernible ones. A question that arises is whether AI can copyright output. Generally, works entirely generated by a machine in general can't be copyrighted. It is less clear, however, how the legal system will view human-AI collaborations. However, there has been a recent Reuters report that the US Copyright Office said that images created by AI engine Midjourney and then used in a graphic novel were not able to be protected. So this is a very interesting case to determine whether works that are generated by a machine can be copyrighted and how the interaction with a human will affect its ability to be copyrighted. Slanting and libel has been another major challenge. First of all, AI systems are not people, and as such, they may not be capable of committing libel or slander. But the creators of those systems could potentially be held liable if they were reckless or negligent in the creation of the systems, according to some legal experts. ChatGPT or Microsoft's new AI-powered Bing, for example, may face a new kind of lawsuit if the information they serve up is so defamatory as to constitute libel or slander. The problem is trickier still because AI shows different results to different people. Unlike traditional apps and websites, which generally return similar information given the same query, generative AI systems can serve up completely different results each time. Courts will also have to decide how, if at all, the controversial Section 230 liability protections apply to content generated by AI systems. Supreme Court Justice Niels Gorsuch recently sounded a skeptical note as to whether Section 230 would protect ChatGPT-related content. Another question is whether the makers of AI systems could be found liable for the consequence of providing dangerously wrong information. Companies like Microsoft, Google, and OpenAI have recently detailed their efforts to improve the accuracy of their generative AI programs, while also warning customers that the AI engines may offer information that is fabricated or wrong. Private information could also be exposed by generative engines, something that anecdotal reports suggest is already occurring. But courts and lawmakers will likely play a role in determining how these and other legal issues play out. The courts will seek to apply existing law, while legislators may face pressure from several directions to write laws more directly addressing AI. This will be a very interesting development in the years to come. This is the AI, focusing on newest developments in AI and the legal space. Please subscribe to my channel and put any questions or feedback in the comment section. Goodbye.